This episode of the PBC, Pelican Bay's Corner, we got some breaking news coming from Gainesville, Florida. It's your boy K9s giving it to you the way I always do, fair and unbiased, raw and uncut. Some gonna like it, some ain't. Like I always say, I hope everybody having a great day, great morning, great evening. Just depends on when you're watching this video and where you stay at when you're watching this video. Big shout out and big salute to all the pet lovers out there across this good old great globe. You know what I'm saying? And everybody doing the right things with these animals. We just got some news to talk about today, and we're going to do some updates. We got a couple updates as well from some of the old news that we've seen, going on over the past couple of days, or past couple of weeks, rather. So like I said, man, first thing we're going to do, we're going to get into this thing down here in Gainesville, Florida.
Developing at 4, Gainesville police arrested a man accused of running a dog-fighting operation. Officers say around a dozen dogs were found locked in kennels in the backyard of a home on Northeast 12th Street. That's where they arrested 43-year-old Clinton Thomas. Authorities say many of the dogs had scars and lacked food and water. They found equipment associated with dogfighting. Thomas denies using the dogs for fighting. Officers are investigating whether this operation is tied to another dogfighting ring we reported on last year in February on Southwest 1st Street.
Gainesville man arrested on dogfighting and animal cruelty charges after officers find 12 dogs in padlocked kennels. Clinton Eugene Thomas, 43, was arrested yesterday after a search warrant reportedly found 12 dogs in padlocked kennels, some without water or food, along with training devices that are associated with dogfighting. On March 11th, Gainesville Police Department officers assisted Alachua County Animal Resources, ACIR, with executing a search warrant at 3023 NE 12th Street after receiving a report about animal cruelty and dogfighting. Officers reported finding 7 adult dogs and 5 puppies, along with training devices and medications that are often associated with dogfighting. One dog was in a wire crate covered in feces and had injuries on its paws and scarring on its legs, head, and face. That dog and one other dog had to be removed from their crates with bolt cutters because the crates were locked with pipe clamps. A female dog had missing or filed down teeth, consistent with practices used with bait dogs and breeding. 2 other dogs had significant scarring all over their bodies, and several had large or weighted collars that are often used to train fighting dogs. One puppy had no water and appeared lethargic. 4 3-month-old puppies were confined in a raised kennel that was approximately 6 feet by 4 feet, and they had no food or water. The search also produced numerous prescription medications, supplies for wound treatment, and training tools, including weights, a treadmill, and protein powder. While officers were executing the search warrant, Thomas arrived at the property and said the dogs were his. He said he controls the property and comes every day to care for the dogs. After Thomas was arrested, one of his family members told an officer that Thomas wasn't even fighting dogs today. Post Miranda, Thomas reportedly said he has kept dogs on the property for several years as a hobby, but he does not breed or sell the dogs. He could not explain why he had so many dogs. He said he buys food for the dogs and spends hours with them every week. He also said some of the dogs belong to his friends and he cares for them at no cost. Thomas reportedly said he is in the process of moving into the residence on the property and goes there every day to take care of the dogs. He said he walks each dog every other day, except for the puppies, which stay in the kennel at all times. When he was shown a picture of a 3-month-old puppy found with no food or water in a wire crate that was about 2 feet by 3 feet, had no plastic bottom, and was sitting on a wooden pallet that was covered in feces, Thomas reportedly said he couldn't stop the puppy from turning the food and water bowls over. He was reportedly told that he could use an angular bowl that doesn't turn over, or check on the puppy more frequently, particularly when it's hot, as it was on March 11th. Thomas reportedly said there was nothing wrong with the conditions in which he kept his animals. He said the dogs were never used for fighting while they were in his possession, but he could neither confirm nor deny if the dogs had previously been used for fighting. When he was shown a picture of significant scars on one of the dogs, Thomas reportedly said those were self-inflicted wounds from trying to get out of the kennels. However, ACAR advised that the scarring was consistent with dogfighting and did not appear to be self-inflicted. Thomas reportedly said the weighted collars were to condition the dogs for hog hunting, but he could not provide any details about how he trains or uses the dogs for hog hunting. He said he rotated the dogs on the chain in the backyard because dogs are greedy, and he used it for exercise. He said multiple times that he is not abusing the dogs and that they are not used for fighting. Thomas said his phone did not contain any evidence of dog fighting, but he reportedly refused to show it to the officers. Thomas has been charged with keeping dogs for the purpose of organized dog fighting and 8 counts of cruelty to animals for confining the dogs without food or water. He has 1 misdemeanor conviction and 1 felony conviction, both from many years ago. He has a long list of drop charges, including 2 charges related to animal cruelty in 2016 that were later dropped. Thomas was released from the jail before first appearance. The dogs were seized by ACAR, leading shelter volunteers to express concern about whether dogs at the shelter would again be euthanized to make room for the new dogs, as was the case when a similar incident occurred in December 2025.
Now, I gave y'all both articles. The second one was a little more in detail on, what was going on. All right, and like I always say, we always can learn something from each incident that goes down. And this one thing that I can say we can all learn from this is something I mentioned a little while ago. And like I said, having a treadmill, having the exercise equipment, having the weights, none of that stuff means you're fighting your dog. Like I always say, what happened to the good old fashioned catch a person doing it in the act? Now you fighting your dog because you got caught doing it in the act. You can't argue against that. But just by having exercise equipment, now scarred up dogs is a whole nother topic. You know what I'm saying? When you got scarred up dogs, sometimes dogs can scar up themselves, trying to get out of the cages. All different type of things happen throughout the dog lives to get scars on them.
Tangipahoa Parish now, sheriff's deputies there are searching for 3 people they say were involved in a dog fighting ring. They've got 1 person already in custody facing charges here in this case. Authorities do say that they arrested Alfred Dyson after deputies received a tip about that dog fighting they say took place near the old Country Dollar store in the Roseland area. Dyson owns that property. Deputies say that they found 2 dogs, also evidence of a dog fighting operation. Then about a mile away, deputies say they found more than a dozen chained dogs with fighting injuries, also evidence of additional dog fights. They are searching this morning for a man by the name of Alfred Lott of Kentwood, Arthur Rose of Slidell, and David Coleman III of Port Arthur, Texas.
Out here off of River Road, off of Highway 10, we're following up on last week's dog fighting investigation that was initiated, and so we're out here in a big vacant field, and we're in the process of rescuing 13 dogs that all of them are in various states of poor health. Some have scars, evidence of dog fighting. So we're out here with animal control, which we're very grateful to have their assistance, and we're rescuing these animals. We're also dismantling these makeshift kennels. A couple of these dogs did not even have shelter, and so this investigation continues to be ongoing, and we won't stop until we get to the very last person that has anything to do with this. And we're going to use every resource that we have, and we're even talking to outside agencies for assistance so that we leave no stone uncovered to make sure that everybody that's involved in this operation is brought to justice. And here at the Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office, we take great pride in the jobs that these men and women do every day. They did a phenomenal job, great investigation, so I just want to thank them for what they do. And the mistreatment of animals of any sort at any magnitude is uncalled for, it's unconscionable, and we won't tolerate it.
And some dogs hold scars longer than other dogs hold scars. Some dogs hold certain scars for their life. And this is the thing. I see this all too many times. Brothers letting their dogs hit raccoons, possums, any type of animals, cats and all kind of stuff. These dogs get scars all on their face, right? Now, you could be doing that for get you some views or some clicks on what, with your hunting channel or whatever. Now, at the end of the day, that same dog, you ain't gonna be able to say, oh, I threw him on some raccoons or something like that. They're gonna say that's dog fighting when they look at the scars on his face. you know. And like I said, I'm more on if you catch them doing it, okay, yeah, they did it. But just off of having equipment or having this or having that, the one thing I will say that we can learn from this situation is when they asked him about hog hunting, you know, he couldn't tell them nothing about hog hunting. So that's why I say you can't look like you're doing the right things out here with these dogs. You got to really be doing the right things out here with these dogs, because if he would have been doing the right thing, not saying that his brothers wasn't, but if he would have been doing the hog hunting like he threw it up to him, then you would have been able to throw up hog hunting things that you do to get ready, to go out here. What you doing when you see one? What's the best one you ever caught, the biggest one you ever caught, the wildest one you ever caught? What one you thought you wasn't going to catch? What one took you in deep water? You know, what was the hardest one? What was the easiest one? You know, it's just things you can talk about. Just like you can talk about dogs with anything. You know, we brothers who do confirmation shows. You know, when you get to talking with other brothers who do confirmation shows, or they get to talking about confirmation terms and different things, then these brothers know how to automatically get into the conversation because they did that or do that. You know, when they hear judges and stuff start saying certain things, they automatically know how to pick up and join in the conversation and keep the conversation going because they do that, you know. But you can't look it and try to make it look one way and then try to do it another way. You know, it ain't gonna never work like that. And you know, they also said that they asked him to let him see his phone if he didn't have no videos in it. Now, I can't, you know, I can't speak for nobody else, you know, but only thing they can see, you know, in your phone, if you gave them your phone, you know, I'm not sure how that's gonna work. I'm not saying I would have given my phone or would have or wouldn't have, but the way they look at it, like if you don't got nothing to hide, you know, why you don't give your phone up? And then the brother might be looking at it like it might be something other than the dogs I don't want you to see. So I don't, you know, I can't really speak on that. But that was in the play too as well. You know, I mean, I guess they'll give more video on it eventually as the days go on. You know, scarred up dogs. I seen them call all kind of dogs scarred up. You know, like I told you when it came to my dogs, they say my dogs are scarred up. My dogs ain't had no scars on them. One or two little scar here and there. And they literally find any scar on your dog. You know, he can be done scratched his neck too much, just scratching. You know how dogs cock up the leg and scratch on the side of their neck? They can do that too much to themselves. Get scars on them somehow or another. Get seen at the wrong time. That's a dog fighting mark. You know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy. It's the way the game is. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn how to adapt. Like I said, this video ain't to say that brother guilty or not guilty or none of that. Giving my brothers and sisters this dog news. You know what I'm saying? And like we said, the only thing that we try to learn about this whole situation is when they asked him the question about hog hunting, he was blank, you know. And I told you just a couple videos back before, there's a difference between looking like you working and really working and wearing a uniform. You know, you wearing a uniform, but you ain't doing it. You know, so I mean, how many people you think give them that excuse whenever they run up on them? I'm hog hunting. Big shout out to everybody that's down in the chat, man. Everybody that's watching or listening. You know, I will be going live more, you know, once I'm done dealing with these puppies like that. I can't go live the way I want to go live dealing with them puppies, man. So I will be going live, you know, more over the next couple weeks. Let's see. Big salute, big shout out to, man, everybody that's rocking with the channel. If you're not subscribed, I always say go ahead and subscribe. What you waiting on? What you waiting on? My brothers, my sisters. You know, we just getting warmed up, man. Just getting warmed up. This weather back and forth. We was hot. Now, come today, we cold again. You know, and we was hot over the past, I'm gonna say 2 weeks, I guess. A week and a half, at least 2 weeks. Now we back cold again. I don't know how long this gonna last. But yeah, man. I might, what's the day, Friday? I might just wait to go live tomorrow night with the Saturday Night Live. But yeah, man, just giving it to y'all. Y'all know where y'all got it from. Live from Gainesville, Florida. PBC, the PBC satellites from outer space. You know what I'm saying? Still booming, still jumping. You know, it is what it is. Y'all take care of them animals out there. Y'all be safe. Y'all be legal. It's your boy PB K9s, and I'm out.